Hello, welcome to basically a tutorial on how to get a pretty good Van Halen tone out of bias effects. And this was requested by someone who wanted to hear some Van Halen tones. Um, and it's actually pretty freaking easy to do. So as you can see, I already have my instance of bias effects open. I got this idea for figuring out how to get the Van Halen tone basically from watching this really awesome video called Van Halen. I believe it's the guitar method, Van Halen guitar method. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to really dial in those Van Halen tones with actual equipment. That is probably the best video I've ever seen dictating that and how to really get it. In this case, I'm going to be using the modded Plexi amp, and if you go on Bias Effects, I'm using Bias Effects 1, by the way. It should be under Crunch, right here, modded. So that's the one we're going to use. It is set as such. As you see, the gain is not all the way up. The bass, middle, treble, and presence are at 11 o'clock, and the volume is at 9, the master volume, okay? And I have it set that way for a very particular reason. If you have the volume at 10, it gets kind of flubby, and 9 seems to be right at a good cusp there for really dialing it in. And the gain I have set around 9 as well, but I might dial that back a little bit, like 8.5. The cab itself, I'm using a 4x12. It's basically the stock cab that comes with the mod Plexi, and it's set as such. I don't remember if that's how it's already set, but that's basically the settings. And that's what this sounds like right here. So, and right off the bat, I mean, that's like 80% of the tone already. The other additional parts, number one, we need to have this very long plate reverb in post, and this is in the effects loop of the amp. So anything to the right of the amp is in the effects loop. And as you can see, it's basically everything. I'm not running anything in the front of the amp. And so here's what this sounds like. Okay? And it's a long plate reverb, and that's just kind of what they use. You could adjust the tone accordingly, but I kind of have set as such, like this. After that, or before then, we have our delay going into that, and here's what that sounds like. So let me turn it on. This is basically replicating the Echoplex. That's pretty much it for album number 1. That's all you really need. So here is what that sounds like playing through some of these songs. So that's basically the first album tone. Okay, it's just very straight up. It's hard to get wrong. It's because it's just very simple and straight up. So once you have this modded plexi kind of tone with some delay and verb, that's basically all you really need. Now, what gets interesting is the evolution beyond that. So, for example, Eddie starts to use different guitars. So instead of using the parts caster that he put together, the Frankenstein guitar, which is the same guitar throughout. So the black and white guitar is the same as the red and white black guitar, and so the pickup I believe is the same. And eventually it was retrofitted with the Floyd Rose, which does change the tone a little bit. He was also using Kramer guitars and his own PV guitars and everything. So to kind of replicate that, what I'm using here is an EQ. And the only thing I've changed is the 4K. I just dipped it down a little bit. And as you see here, I also turned up the level. And the reason for that is because when I turn on the chorus, it dips down. The whole volume level dips down. So in order to retain the actual volume of everything, I push it back up. And I also have a high cut here of like 26K. You don't really need it, but it's just there. I just put it on there. I don't remember why, but I did. And so the chorus is set as such, like this. So here's what the chorus sounds like without the EQ. It's kind of a lot, and the volume dips down. So then once I put on the EQ, and that's basically how you get this tone. And that's also kind of like the Panama tone. One of my favorite Van Halen tones that you can achieve through this, and again it's set as such. This is with everything on, so it kind of sounds like this. what can I say that hasn't been said already? Eddie has and always been a pioneer when it comes to guitar, and so whenever I feel like a lack of inspiration, Eddie's tones kind of bring it back. They sound great, sounds awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of the many things you can shape with bias effects. So even if you don't like my tone or you want to be more particular about certain things, of course you can literally alter everything here, and shape everything exactly as you want. So there is no right or wrong way to set this up. This is just a general basic tone for Van Halen stuff. All right, have a good one.